The last name Booth is no doubt an infamous name, not only in the United States, but perhaps the world. John Wilkes Booth, famous actor as well as a disgruntled Confederate sympathizer, was the person who successfully assassinated President Abraham Lincoln on April 14, 1865, 5 short days after the surrender of Confederate forces at Appomattox Courthouse, thus ending the bloodiest war in American history. This brazen act forever altered the course of American history and forever linked the Booth name to infamy. However, what is not widely known is the strangest of coincidences that occurred on a train station platform in New Jersey right before Abraham Lincoln's death, something that Hollywood or the most creative fictional writers could never contrive. Did you know before Booth killed Lincoln, another Booth actually saved another Lincoln? But before we get into that, a shameless plug. Please subscribe to the Quick Interesting History channel so I know you enjoy these videos and it will prompt me to make more. Now, on to the story you came to hear. It went down like this. Robert Todd Lincoln, the eldest son of President Lincoln, was traveling back from Harvard to D.C. circa 1863-1864. Although the exact date is not known, the personal accounts from this event come from Lincoln family friends over the years, letters from Robert Todd Lincoln, and the details are recounted by many historians. Historian John Goff gives a very specific ironic account of this event in his book, Robert Todd Lincoln, A Man in His Own Right. In this book, Goff reveals a letter that Robert Todd wrote to a family friend describing this fateful event on a New Jersey train platform. Robert Todd Lincoln describes the event like this. The event occurred while a group of passengers were late at night purchasing their sleeping car places from the conductor who stood at the station platform at the entrance of the car. The platform was about the height of the car floor, and there was of course a narrow space between the platform and the body car. There was some crowding, and I happened to be pressed by it against the car body while waiting my turn. In this situation, the train began to move, and by the motion I was twisted off my feet and had dropped somewhat with feet downward into the open space and was personally helpless, when my collar was vigorously seized and I was quickly pulled up and out to secure footing on the platform. Upon turning to thank my rescuer, I saw it was Edwin Booth, whose face was of course well known to me, and I expressed my gratitude to him, and in doing so, called him by name. Had Edwin Booth, the brother of John Wilkes Booth, just saved Abraham Lincoln's son's life? Historian Jason Emerson, in his book Giant in the Shadows, The Life of Robert T. Lincoln, also recounts this unbelievable story, describing, Robert was pressed by the crowd against the waiting train, which then began to move forward, and he fell into the narrow space between the car and the platform. He was helpless to escape when a hand grabbed his coat collar and pulled him up onto the platform. Robert turned to find his rescuer to be Edwin Booth, America's most revered stage actor. Robert recognized the actor and thanked him by name. Robert went on to say, quote, I probably was saved by Mr. Booth from a very bad injury, if not something more. Emerson further adds more irony to this already surreal story. Edwin Booth was not traveling alone that day either. He was with a friend traveling to Richmond. Who was that friend? John T. Ford, owner of Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., as Emerson lays out in the book, explaining Booth was, quote, was traveling to Richmond, Virginia with his friend John T. Ford to fulfill an engagement. In the strangest of strange twists, only a short time after Robert Todd Lincoln was saved from imminent harm or possibly death by Edwin Booth while accompanied with John Ford, would Robert Todd's life collide again with both these men in the most unfortunate and completely opposite ways that they collided back on that day on a train platform in New Jersey. The man who saved Robert Todd Lincoln would see his brother later slay his father, the 16th president, and the setting for the historic assassination would occur in the theater owned by the friend Edwin Booth was traveling with the day he saved Robert Todd Lincoln from that train platform, John T. Ford. History is no doubt stranger than fiction.